What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sal, and I know I have not made a video in like 2 months, but there's a good reason for that. Mostly just because I hate all of you. No, I'm kidding. It's more because I just have found a lot of other stuff to do with my time. We're not going to go into it too much. The big takeaway from this is basically I'm not going to make a lot of new videos. It's certainly not going to be daily. So you can hit subscribe, and if I ever do make a new one, like you'll see the little notification come up, and it'll be like, whoa, he made a new video. Holy crap! Otherwise, it's not going to be very regular. It's going to be far less regular than you would ever find anybody in an old man's home. Just going to let that one sink in. Okay, well anyway, I do have a couple of announcements. So part of the problem of not making any videos over the last 2 months is that a lot of stuff has happened, and I was even involved in some of it, and then I didn't make a video about it, which is kind of stupid. Let's start with the most recent first, because it's sitting on my desk. This is not related to TF2 directly, although the color is kind of the same, and if you've seen my Twitter, you know. I got glass. It's not actually turned on right now, but it is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do too much in the way of a product review, although I guess I could, but I want to make sure I get some actual climbing video of that taken first. Before I just go hype on a Google train or something. Anyway, get on the Google hype train. It's early. I can't talk. Just let me have my coffee in peace, all right? And yes, this was my high school. The Cinco, well, you know. Whatever, you don't care. Let's go back in time a little bit then. And so this big Valve update, right? I'm not going to claim credit for a Valve update. And I saw somebody, I think it was LameFX on Reddit, saying basically, hey, Sal did a lot of this, or basically, put the bug in Valve's ear so they would do a lot of this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, so I guess we should just talk about how that meeting actually went, and I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to how much I actually did, which was nothing. But Jeff had set up a meeting with Valve because he is friends with a couple of the guys over there, including Robin Walker. Robin Walker, who is not, by the way, on the TF2 team anymore. But so we went over there, and it was a great time. The first thing we did was Eric Smith showed us the Oculus Rift, and I actually didn't get sick my first time playing with that. It was pretty cool, not gonna lie. And it was fantastic. It was a nice little device where I played as Demo Man. You had a little parrot on your shoulder, and it was so responsive that like here's a screen. Right? If I move my head towards the screen, the parrot stayed in the same place. Like I could look at different angles at the parrot depending on how I was moving my head. That was whoa. Okay, so yeah, the Rift was kind of cool. But after that, we went and I had sent them like an agenda of stuff that we wanted to talk to, and the agenda I had sent started with like some hey, maybe you could just fix this bug or this issue so that our players can have a little bit of a better, easier time, spawning on granary, for instance. Basically just the first thing we did was identify a couple of easy fixes they could do that would not take a lot of time, and they could throw a bone to the competitive community. And then the rest of the way down the agenda was like, okay, well, here's more of our pipe dreams, right? So if you want to help us do this, if you want to help us do that, it was around like getting a competitive lobby system and sponsoring tournaments and all that. And the first thing Robin Walker does is he says, well, so I understand the competitive community's needs and I know what they want, but we can't have basically 5 people is the TF team, more or less. We can't have 5 people spending all their time coding for one small subset of the game when there's a whole bunch of pub players out there who would not benefit from a competitive thing at all, right? Unless it was something that they all were willing to try. But he did say that the first thing they could do is look at like weapon balancing and stat balancing, because they do want to help everybody at the same time. And so, they just started. They talked to me. They talked to Jeff for a long time. We talked about how a lobby system might be implemented, which I'm not going to say it's not coming because I don't know what Valve's doing, but I don't know if it's coming either. But I do know that as soon as we went home after that meeting with Valve, and after we played some fun in development stuff with them, they started sending us messages like, hey, so you remember that granary thing? Exactly what were you talking about? And so we sent them pictures of like all the different stuff that was like asymmetric about that. And I think they started talking to people like Huey, I'm not sure, maybe like Huey Lewis, and getting like, stats and stuff on bugs, and they started looking at all the weapons. And so this big update was not a result of my work. It's not a result of Jeff's work. It was a result of a lot of Valve work, and those guys ought to be praised for that. But I think maybe we were just the impetus of like, putting something in their ear like, oh yeah, well, okay, we could do that. And so it was a good meeting. Essentially, a lot of good stuff came out of it, and hopefully more good stuff comes out of it. that's more or less what's happening with me right now. I'm gonna make like one TF2 video today, so holy crap. But I'm basically not playing TF2 as much as I used to. I'm certainly not making vids as much as I used to. I'm more or less just trying to get back in practice for I-49 because I still want to cast at that point. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, don't expect a lot. I'm playing other games. I might record those. I might do some like real life recordings of other stuff, and I don't even know if I'm going to put it on this channel, honestly. We'll see. But it's been good having you with me, and there's plenty of good TF2 content out there, so don't like complain in my comments that Sal is gone, because it doesn't even matter.